Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, yai da 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 bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
Good that we're all here together enjoying our Shabbos, our peacefulness, our time as a community. As always, it's beautiful we can come together as a congregation. So one, say hi to one another in the texting, in the stream of our YouTube platform or on Facebook. And because it's Veteran Shabbat, let us know if you have a family member or you yourself are a veteran of our armed forces, of our armed services in the United States of America. Really important. We don't know all of those who've served our country, and it's great to use this as an opportunity for us to get to know who else has been a part of that. We have a few veterans who are going to speak to us tonight and share with us tonight and honor that tradition that's a part of Temple Shir Shalom. But there are many other, I saw on Facebook, some who I had no idea, who are physicians in the armed services who served in Korea and Vietnam and World War II. And it's really great tribute to be able to honor all of our veterans, all of our members of Temple who've been a part of that as well. With that in mind, tonight is more of a traditional Friday night service, and we're going to use the prayer book if you like. And the prayer book can be found on our website. You can get there through that YouTube platform and follow along with the Friday night prayer book that we'll be using for our services. But let us begin with something special, with a melody that we might not often hear, but the words that we are familiar with of the Pledge of Allegiance. Whenever we have our services with the Jewish war veterans, we always begin as they march in, parade in, with the Jewish war veterans standing at attention and reciting and leading us as a congregation with the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask Cantor to lead us now with this melody of those words.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land
answer. And so, as we begin our prayers on this Shabbat evening, to help us light and lead us in the kindling of the Shabbos candles, I invite Cheryl Blau to come to our screen, to come to our services. And Cheryl is with us because she is one of the Rosie the Riveter's lunchbox drill team. A little secret that I was not aware of until my friend Arthur Fishman mentioned that. And then the next morning, I saw her on the news with her drill team parading alongside our veterans, as they often do on July 4th, on Veterans Day, helping out. They've marched in Washington, D.C. They've done some really remarkable things. And so with that in mind, honoring Rosie the Riveters, those women who back in the States took jobs so that the men could go fight overseas during World War II. So we asked for Cheryl to lead us in the lighting of the Shabbos candles, and we give her an extra shout out for becoming a new member of the Farmington board, school board, and wish her a mazel tov and congratulations on winning that election and being part of the school board there. So we begin our service on page 14 of our 14. Am I right there?
Yes, 16.
Okay,
16.
16. That was not right there. You can page 16 of our prayer books.
Let us welcome Shabbat with light and with love. May we bring Shabbat into our hearts, into our souls, and into our homes. May the glow of these candles light our way in the world. May we never feel lost or alone with our people by our side. May the glow of these tapers bring a spirit of renewal to our lives. May we see our world with eyes that are wise. May the flames that we kindle inspire us with the warmth of our people and the faith they cherished. As we bless these candles, so may we be blessed by their light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed art you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has commanded us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. May we be blessed with the joy of Shabbat. May we be blessed with the holiness of Shabbat. May we be blessed with the warmth of Shabbat. And may we be blessed with Shabbat peace. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
I'd like to invite our friend Arthur Fishman to join us now and to lead us in our Kiddush on this special Shabbat. And Arthur, of course, is really responsible for bringing the Jewish war vets to Temple Shir Shalom and make them so much a part of what we do. And it's really nice that very recently, Arthur has been awarded the Medal of Merit for exceptional sustained service to the Jewish War Veterans, Department of Michigan, as Senior Vice Commander and Department Programming Chairman, 1967 to 2020. Arthur, I was born in 1968. So with that in mind, I turn to our good friend Arthur to lead us in the blessing over the wine, the Kiddush on this Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei Peri Hagafen. Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has created the fruit of the vine. Amen.
Amen. Chaim. Thank you, Arthur.
We can continue our prayers on page 20 of our prayer book as we rise together for our call to worship. For those of you that are wondering where page 20 might be, you might be able to find it on our resources page if you haven't seen that on the YouTube page, for Temple Shir Shalom. You'll be able to follow along in all of our prayers as we do that. And we're on page 20 to join together. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach. Praise be our God, to whom all praise is due. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed. Praise be our God, to whom all praise is due, now and forever. Continue with the watchword of our faith, the words of the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch thou shalt speak of them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up, and when thou risest up, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be for frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them on the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates, upon thy gates, that ye may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
We continue on page 23. These eternal words have been a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. Faith and choice bring understanding to the soul and sensitivity to the heart. In all times and places, our God has been a part of our lives. Our faith.
Faith has been our rock and our help.
We witnessed God's wonders when we went free from Egypt.
When slavery's chains were broken, we witnessed it.
May those who have the faith to believe also have the wisdom to be kind.
O God, in whom we have all hope, we glorify your name now, as our people have praised you throughout history.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot o sefele, nora tehilot o sefele, malchutecha
Preparation for the Amidah, we take a moment for our own private meditations, either following the words of our prayer books on page 25 or those our hearts might prompt.
The thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity a song in the silence of the night, and eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. Hi, Adonai, Sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, Sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, u'midom elach, melech mimit u'mechaye, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You are holy, and your name is holy. And we sing your praises every day. Praised are you, the holy God. Please be seated.
Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu malkeinu
Let us lie down in peace, O God, and permit us to wake up in the security of knowing that we are safe and loved. Be a shield around us and keep enemies, disease, violence, homelessness, and hunger far away from those we love. Keep us safe in the shadow of your wings, for you are our protector. You show compassion and mercy when you permit us the experience of seeing the shelter of your peace. Give to your people Israel and the world a time of peace.
Shomru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As Israel has preserved the Sabbath, so the Sabbath is preserved to Israel. It is an everlasting covenant between God and the children of Israel. It is a reminder of creation. For in 6 days God created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day God sanctified all life with rest. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship among the inhabitants of all lands, And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Blessed is the eternal God, the source of peace.
Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon, לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדום, לכל השלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We pause at this moment from our own individual prayers to think of friends and families, members of our community who are in need of healing. As we are in the presence at times of Torah over Cantor's shoulder, the idea that Torah has given our people strength for thousands of years. And as we have Torah out now, we hope that it continue to give us and our loved ones that strength as well, as we say, Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Ve'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel, V'Yivarech et Acholim. Merciful God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, send your blessings to our loved ones who are stricken with illness or anxiety. To Alyssa Ayudo, Eugene Blakeman, Larry Burke, Grace Geraldine Carafelli, Karen Kasman, Linda Cunningham, Ezra Chaim Ben Devorah, Gary Fishman, Adele Gaba Band, Kathy Gilman, Paul Goldberg, Dr. Barbara Goldman, Sylvia Goldman, Sandy Gorash, Batya Batbeshia Panina, Charles Gross, Sherry Gutter, Hank Heiser, Marty Hollander, Rebecca Horn, Linda Chrysler Horowitz, Michael Ingber, Sarah Jacobson, Sarah Fina Coffrin, Alyssa Coltono, Isabella Lazar, Marta Lazar, Henry Leopold, Emily Levin, Francisco Leva, Angelo Liberati, Zoe Marcus, Beth Margolin, Joyce Meza, Patricia McCauley, Leonard Meiji, Perry Moss, Lori Moss, Scott Miles, Kate Negron, Rabbi Robert Nosenchuk, Miriam Leah Batdanel Esther, Paul Rakosi, Barbie Joan Ryder, Jody Richmond, Alan Rosen, Mona Rosenbaum, the Saint Amand family, Amy Selmanoff, Diane Silverstein, Suzanne Zalesnik Smith, Sunday Taylor, Chaim Shmuel Ben Noach, Kochav Ben Noach, Bill Vigelius, Bob Wallach, Steve Weston, all those battling coronavirus, both at home and in the hospital. the 20,095 American troops who have been injured in Iraq and Afghanistan to date, as well as all the names in our hearts. May God grant them a refuah shlema, complete healing of mind, of body, and of spirit.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
As we continue to have Torah out, in addition to our prayers of healing, we ask that God's partners in healing also be blessed with this special Mishaberach. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors. Bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists, hospital social workers, respiratory therapists, and mental health professionals. And bless those who continue to go above and beyond, those working daily in our grocery stores, those who drive medical supplies to our homes, those delivering necessities to our families, cooking meals for so many, everyone who puts the needs of others above their own, navigating the unfolding dangers of the world each day, tending to those they have sworn to help. Bless them in their coming home, and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength. Keep them in health that they may bring health. Help them know again a time when they can create breath without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days. As we continue by rising together for the words of the Elenu on page 41 in our prayer books.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
Nothing can fill the emptiness that a death leaves behind. Those who are no longer a physical presence are still alive within our thoughts and our words. Their memories are only a part of the picture. So long as we recall their presence, their warmth, their friendship, their heart, mind, and thought are still within our soul. We honor and cherish the ones we love by living our lives to the fullest. Time in our prayers, our thoughts turn to those taken from our midst in this past week and month who Shoshimi mark, friends and family of our congregation. Larry Loss, Beverly Nussbaum, Joel Bussell, Beatrice Goldstone, Bradford Jacobs, Margie Wilner, William Zucker, Molly Sinkoff, Bina Camden, Ruben Stahl, Victor Kislak, Fanny Zuckerman, Susan Averbach, as well as the 2,420 Americans in our armed forces lost in Afghanistan, Iraq, surrounding areas to date. And linking their names and names whose yard sites we mark on the Shabbat, those anniversary of passing we lovingly commemorate. Rabbi Sidney Axelrod, Virginia Bagley, Oscar Band, Gertrude Beckman, Harriet Burke, Madeline Berman, Stanley Brown, Rose Budnitsky, Amy Kumil, Shirley Citron, Yetta Epstein, Sadie Ernstine, Eddie Eskovitz, Bella Falk Pearson, Ben Feinstein, Joe Feldman, Anna Foreman, Henry B. Frank, Albert Friedman, Michael Galanda, Buzz Garber, Jack Glazer, Ann Goodman, Louis Green, Sidney Herman, Stacy Hightow, Yetta Jaffe Hollander, Marvin Howard, Cy Indiana, Marianne Jerez, Rose Kaufman, Melvin Keeps, Alan Cole, Joni Laidlow, Ruthie Levine, Dr. Bernard Lynn, Bernice Lynn, Harvey Mann, Dr. Jacob Rader Marcus, Sheldon Max, Sybil Myers, Harold Michaels, Esther Side Minlin, Maureen Malloy, Jamie Morey, Maya Jo Muss, Paul Nattenberg, Fred Needleson, Earl Oberman, Alfred Peck, Edith Polk, Dr. William Ratner, Howard Reinitz, Adele Robbins, Hilda Rubin, Sarah Rubin, Julius Ruda, Harry Schwartz, Anna Seidman, Hi Serrata, Shirley Serrata, Nancy Shack, William Shore, Joseph Siklich, Esther Singer, Freda Stillwater, Pamela Taylor, Brenda Vinton, Earl Weingarten, Harry Weinstein, Judy Whites, Jeanette Goldberg Wenk, Henry Westheimer, Kayla Lucille White. And linking their names, all the names that we do not recite on this Shabbat, those of every faith, every family whose lives have touched ours, as well as those who have no one to stand and say Kaddish for them. Together we join in the immortal words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal, Yikadah Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma Divra Chirute, Bi'almich Malchute, B'chayachon of Yomechon Uchayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'agalah Ubizman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Olama Mea Maya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Ramam V'yit Naseh, V'nadar V'naleh V'nalal, Shemei Kudasha Parichu, Le'amin Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechamata, V'ram Yama V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shama Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'ramav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. The source of peace and peace to those who mourn. Comforts those who are bereaved here and everywhere. And let us say together, Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'ramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'ramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, and good to be together and enjoy our Shabbat together. And as we said in the beginning, it is very special being Veteran Shabbat, something unique for us as a community, as a congregation, and in these times of our COVID realities, an opportunity for us to do things a little bit differently and to hear from some different folks who we might not have had a chance to hear from before. And so we've asked two of our members who are veterans of the armed forces of the United States of America to share a little bit of their stories. And so first, I'm going to introduce you to our good friend, Richard Scheck, the Staff Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, active duty from 1984 to 1988 in the Marines. From 88 to 90, he was in the Reserve. From 1992, he was in the Naval Reserve. And from 92 until 2000, he was a drill sergeant in the Army Reserve. So Richard, welcome to our services this evening.
Thank you. Honored to be here.
Good to see you. We thought it would be appropriate to have a few of our members share some of their stories. And you haven't had a chance. I mean, I've known it for years, and Rabbi Daniel too, but most of our members haven't. And we thought it'd be really a worthwhile thing for folks to hear. Richard is one of the most humble individuals. And as someone who's never seen battle and been in actual combat, feels a little awkward in representing veterans in that sense. Is that a fair thing to say, Richard?
That is a very fair thing to say. Yes.
But you did give a lot of your time and a lot of your energy to serving and honoring our country and really believing in that. So the first question I want to throw to you is, a Jewish kid from the Queens, why are you going to the Marines?
My mother asked the same question for months, but for me, I just knew I wasn't ready for college and I needed to do something. So I needed the discipline. And I looked at the 4 branches of the service and decided that if I was going to do it and I wanted to get the discipline, the Marine Corps would be the best option for me. And as I've told you, I believe I got a lot more out of the service than I gave them. So it worked out well for me.
Fortunately, sounds good. How did, you're a man today, a very strong Jewish identity, very proud Jewish identity, right? How did these two things come together for you in your life?
Well, being in the service, there's 2 things that they never mess with. Number one is getting your mail. No matter where you are in the military, they always manage to get it to you. And number 2 is religion. And, being bar mitzvahed in Long Island at 13, I had really stopped going to services after that. And when I arrived at Paris Island, we got picked up by our drill sergeants, and Sunday morning, we're on line, 30 men on each side, 60 in all, for Sunday morning worship. So our senior drill instructor comes out. He's about 5'2", and he screams, "Time for morning services, Catholics on the right, Protestants on the left, ready, move." And 59 different recruits go scrambling to a line, and I'm standing at the position of attention. And he says, "Recruit, what's your problem?" I said, "Sir, this recruit is Jewish, sir." And he looks at me and he takes a step back. And again, I'm looking over his head because he's about 5'2". And he says, "What the hell did you say?" I said, "Sir, this recruit is Jewish." And he thinks for a minute. He says, "The hell you are. Today you're a Protestant. Go get in that line." And I went to Protestant services on Sunday morning and didn't think twice about it. But the next Friday night, we're up on the parade deck and we're marching, and a van pulls up. And I hear, "Rabbi, get your butt up here." And everybody in the Marine Corps has a nickname. And being the only Jewish kid out of 2,000 in recruit training, mine was Rabbi. And he just says, "Get in the van." And so I went and I got in the van, no questions asked. And there's a Lance Corporal driving the van. And I don't ask him because he's active duty Marine. And he starts driving and driving and driving. And we're going off base. So now I'm starting to think, boy, I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm thinking, I'm not coming back. And we pull up in front of this house and he says, get out and get in the house. And I run up and I ring the bell and a captain answers the door and invites me in. And captain and his wife, and there was a first lieutenant there and a civilian, and we had services. And every Friday night after that, except for one Friday when we were out in the field, they made it a point that I went off base and I got sent to services. And it really helped me in reconnecting with my Judaism.
So you weren't asking to go to services, you were made to go to Shabbat services.
I was the first 1 or 2 Shabbat services I was absolutely made to go. There was no option. But after that, it was absolutely a choice. But one that they were sure and gave me. So
yeah, and something that definitely seemed to help. How did that? So once you were out of South Carolina, right? As a Parris Islanders, right?
yes, Parris Island, yes.
Right. I remember my Billy Joel songs, and and so and I know you were in Okinawa. You were even around the globe with the Marines in your time together. How else did your Judaism come into play? Living your life as a Marine and the different roles you played.
Well, we were always afforded the opportunity for services. In fact, in Okinawa, there was a kid that I went to high school with who had joined the Navy, a Jewish kid, but he was actually a chaplain's assistant for one of the priests. And he was actually the Jewish lay leader. So we would, I was up on the northern end of Okinawa, and Friday night we would go down to the southern end of the island, and there was 14 or 15 of us, and we would get together and we'd have services. We'd have Shabbat services every Friday night when I was in Okinawa. And if you're out in the field, typically the opportunity was we'd have lay-led services, but the opportunity was always there every Friday night to have Shabbat services.
I love how the Marines gave you even a stronger identity than you've had. For those who don't know, Richard taught for years in our religious school at Shoresh and was the Marine sergeant of the 4th graders and the 5th graders. So I think started in 2nd grade at first. He advanced and had fun conducting class at times like a Marine sergeant in a good way, I would say. So in the positive of what we might think of that.
And it was my pleasure to do it. Truly, it was a joy. Loved it.
Well, but I also really, I think the reason why Rabbi and me both find your story so powerful is that you weren't looking for Judaism in this time in your life, but the Marines sort of helped you find it in what was really important.
Not only find it, but reinforced it. And it wasn't just the opportunity to go. It was, whatever your religion was in the service, it was always important to the officers above us that you went and took the time. And, for me at Parris Island, it was always interesting because, you get up in the morning between, 03:30 and 0500, and you're going all day. You get 20 minutes a meal. So you get basically an hour a day of downtime, and that's it. And besides that, it's go, 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 go. And the hour off base for Shabbat services really gave me a time to reflect on who I was and what I was doing there. And it was very powerful for me.
I like that. I really appreciate that you found that to be meaningful. And you shared before with me as well that, and you said in the beginning that wasn't the experience you had growing up, connecting, knowing who you were as a Jew, but it wasn't the spiritual, it was just the identity of that, but those things coming together. And glad that you made Temple your home and you're a part of our community and you represent Judaism well, you represent Temple Shir Shalom well, you represent the Marines well in our mind. So thank you very much for doing that and being a Marine and continuing in your reserve duty and as a drill sergeant. You make us proud. So thank you, Richard.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think one of my favorite, I had the opportunity to hear Richard share that story with a group of high school students as we were in Cincinnati and doing a tour there with our youth group. And I think if I remember correctly, one of the other benefits of going off base was it became the best meal every week on Friday night.
It absolutely was, but I was never allowed to go back. That was our secret amongst the captain, the lieutenant, and myself, because I was not supposed to get fed when I was off base.
Nice.
So, but the captain's wife made it a point, as any good Jewish woman would, to make sure I was well fed before I left the house. So.
I also appreciate the fact that we now know you were called Rabbi, and we will use that as well in the future. Correct? So.
Yes.
So thank you, Richard, for being part of services, giving your time on this Shabbos, and hopefully you got a little peaceful reflection, calm in this evening, and then we're able to. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us too.
Well, thank you for having me. It's greatly appreciated.
Thanks.
So, earlier this week, I also had the opportunity to sit down with another member of Temple, who is a veteran of the Armed Forces, Colonel Ed Hirsch, Army retired. And Ed happens to also be the current commander of the Michigan Department of Jewish War Veterans. And sitting with Ed, we sat for over an hour and had an opportunity to be able to talk about his career. And it's really a prolific career in the military, in the Army, as he was serving in a variety of different places. And we are going to cut towards the end of our interview, but we will make sure that we post the rest of the interview in our different chat feeds, so that if anybody wants to hear a little bit more about probably the first 30 minutes of our conversation, where Ed is talking about his career and some of the experiences that he had, we welcome you to see those as well. But we're going to jump towards the end, where we start to talk about his experience as a Jew in the Army. And so I'm going to turn to Brian, who's behind the scenes, and is going to play that footage for us. As we're doing that, but in your career in the military, you in a sense traveled the world. I don't know how much you toured of it, but you were in a number of different states: Texas, California, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas again, back at Fort Hood. Both your children happened to be at different times where you were there, stationed there, that were born there. Hawaii, Maryland, Alabama, Kentucky, Korea, Panama, Vietnam. So all over. I'm curious, what was your experience like as a Jew in the military?
When I first came on active duty, most of the physicians and dentists, we were still under the draft, were Jewish. So it was like a small part of Israel located in Texas. And it was very comfortable. It was very nice. The guys were from all over the country. I had no bad experiences. When I went to Korea, I was the only Jew and Wonju, and I had one bad experience. I had called down to Seoul, and I wanted to attend the Seder. And when I was when I drove down, there was a 5.5 hour drive. I drove down to Seoul, and I was not allowed to attend the Seder because the rabbi down there said, well, we don't have any room for you. Needless to say, I was not a very happy camper at that time. I ultimately contacted the Jewish Welfare Board, and I expressed my dissatisfaction with the experience. Other than that, everything was fine until I applied for my regular Army commission. I was being interviewed by 2 full colonels and 1 lieutenant colonel, all dentists. I reported in, and they had me take a seat. The lieutenant colonel started by saying, what does a Jew boy like you want to stay in the Army? I was totally shocked by this comment. And the 2 colonels were shocked more so, I think, than I was. They turned to Lieutenant Colonel and they had him leave the room. And the ultimate thing was that I was interviewed by the 2 full colonels, and they were very, very nice and understanding. Other than that, many times I was the only Jewish person in my organization. And we just did not worry about that. My wife and I decided that we make our Jewish home, and we made sure that people knew that we were Jewish. And when I was in Panama, I remember we went for Rosh Hashanah, and everyone wanted to know, well, where's Major Hirsch? I said, well, he's attending New Year's service at the local temple. So not knowing what Jewish New Year was, they came to our house and they figured we're having a big party. I said, no, it's not that type of New Year's. So that was a nice experience. We made sure that both of our children were bar and bat mitzvah. We made sure that they had a good, solid Jewish upbringing. Both kids many times were the only Jews in their school, and they got used to that. My son wound up going to a Seventh-day Adventist college, Alfred University, and my daughter went to a Catholic university, Marquette. So, you know, I guess I set the trend because my college was Episcopalian. So, you know, we're part of the big picture. And we felt that the children have to learn how to be part of this country of ours, which is such an amalgamation of every different types of individuals.
Yeah. Looking back at your experiences, what would you say that you're most proud of in your service?
My time in Special Forces, no question about it. I really felt everyone there wanted to be there. They were all volunteers, and it made a huge difference. And my wife enjoyed being involved with Special Forces, with the wives clubs and stuff like that. And my son ultimately went to jump school, and he also looked up at his dad being a Green Beret. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how my daughter felt, but that's fine.
And now you are the commander of the Jewish War Veterans, the Michigan Department of Jewish War Veterans. Can you tell us a little bit about your role in that and what you find meaningful in that role as well?
When I became a member of the Jewish War Veterans, I was living in Michigan 28, 29 years before I even joined. And this is not an abnormal situation. My chief of staff in the Michigan Department is a retired one-star, and he didn't join until after he got out of the Army. The Jewish War Veterans were not known in the Army when I was on active duty. No one knew about them, which was really a sad situation. So I joined, and I became the senior vice commander of one of our posts, post 447 or 474. And right after I was there for a year, and they selected me to be the new department commander. So I kind of went from the frying pan into the fire. And I really didn't know much about the Jewish War Veterans. I had to learn a lot. And I had some really good tutors who helped me along the way. And the commander I took over from, Larry Berry, was just an outstanding individual. And one of the things I wanted to do was to ensure that our Jewish War Veterans Department in Michigan would be a viable experience and a viable organization going on in time, since I would say most of the members are over 85. Well, as we all know, as the clock is ticking, over 85, ultimately you're going to lose those members through attrition. And that is happening. We're losing more than we're gaining, but we're trying to gain more members. And I have real good people working with me. My senior vice commander at the department level, Art Fishman, as we all know, Art is a go-getter. Without Art, I never would have accepted this position. And Art said the only reason he stayed on because he likes me and he likes the way I operate. So it's been a real nice amalgamation of thought and experience and technique. My junior vice commander turned out to be a real fine individual who's an expert in IT. And when the COVID came and we couldn't meet anymore, he set everything up so we meet at least once a month for the department and once a month for the executive committee. And he set it up with Zoom, and it's really been a real pleasure. We now are, I think, much better off than when I first took over. And that's only because of the fine individuals I have who are working with me. I don't say they work for me, they work with me because I work with them to try to get as much information as I can. So I am representing our Jewish war veterans in the state at a high level. I have represented the Jewish war veterans. 3 years, I was a member of the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund, and I was one of 7 individuals. The Jewish war veterans never was a member, never had a seat on that board. So I was the first one to be on that board. My 3 years were up and I'm not on the board anymore, but I'm active with the individuals. I find that we at the department level and the 3 posts are working very closely together now. We're all singing the same tune, which really wasn't that way when I first took over. It was a bunch of individuals doing their own thing. And there's nothing matter with that other than it was more important for us to work as a team.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And you know what, I imagine that there's some veterans who aren't part of Jewish war veterans who might be watching tonight. And so during Tish, what we will do is make sure that we share information that if somebody wants to become a member of the Jewish war veterans, that they can get in touch with you. You shared with me a little bit of your history, and we'll have that in your career, your military career. We'll have pieces of that we have available. We'll put the link for that too, so that everybody who wants to hear a little bit more about your career can watch that. But on behalf of all of us, I just want to say thank you for your service, and thank you for taking the time to meet with us, share with us, and we'll continue a little bit more during Tish, so that if you have questions for Dr. Hirsch, that you'll be able to ask about those during Tish as well. So thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Rabbi. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Dr. Hirsch. Really, there are so many stories that we don't know. And like I said in the beginning, if you have a family member who's a veteran of the armed services, let us know. Put it in the chat, whether on Facebook or on YouTube, so we can know for future times and get to hear these stories too. I learned just the other day from Cheryl Blau that her dad, Dr. Larry Blau, was a physician in Vietnam as well. I saw Dr. Stan Singer, a founding member of Temple, was a surgeon in Vietnam. Really impressive stories and great work that our members, Jewish war veterans, have done over the years. So we really appreciate all of their service and find it to be really so meaningful. So a moment of Tish, any questions that might happen, Brian will send them our way if they come up in the chats that are happening. Just a chance to say thank you and some announcements as we prepare for that too. Thank you to Brian Fishman behind the scenes coordinating things, our executive director, doing a great job back there, helping us out. Again, to Cheryl Blau and to Art Fishman for helping us in the beginning of our services and representing so well our community and the Jewish war vets. Really appreciate that too. To John Bogdan, who our pianist, you can't see him, but the reason why Cantor's in the sanctuary so that they could sing and play together. We're really thrilled hearing John's hands on the keys there and helping us make even more beautiful music during our services. So really appreciate that. Couple things this Shabbat, a nice peaceful services, calm tomorrow morning, 10:30, Minyan style service. We'll have 9:15 is Tish. If you've never been a part of our Torah study, our Shabbat morning Tish, let us know. We'll give you the Zoom link. You can jump on board. Great opportunity to study and learn with us rabbis. There's a community Havdalah that you've seen maybe advertised on our Instagram, our Facebook, also in our emails. We'll send that to you if you'd like to be a part of that and engage in Havdalah tomorrow night with all the members of our community, all the congregations. Sunday morning, our minyan at 10 a.m. And on Monday morning, musings this week. I'm thrilled that my guest will be Rabbi Mike Moskowitz, activist, scholar, educator, scholar in residence for trans and queer Jewish studies at Congregation Bet Simchat Torah. And he's being honored with the Keshet Award for Courage on Wednesday night at their annual gala. And really an impressive rabbi. He is traditionally, very traditional, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, but radically progressive in his views of inclusion and the importance of our work as Jews and what that means. So he'll be with me studying this week, 9 o'clock on Monday morning. We have had a great trivia night. There's another one in December, on December 9th. December 9th. We have, we're going to Israel on Thursday again.
Thursday's going to be a great class in Israel. It's the cuisines of Israel. And so we will be hearing and learning about different recipes that you might be able to take into your own kitchen to be able to try. And it should be a lot of fun. So it's noon on Thursday. It's the last of this series. But if you haven't been a part of it yet, you can be a part of it. There's no charge for Temple members, and we'd love to have you there.
Beautiful. Just saw some nice things, you know, longtime member of Temple Shir Shalom, Joel Bussell, passed away this week. And so, you know, love the connections. But I misread something. Oh, Julie Bussell's dad was a veteran as well. Sorry about that. I thought you were saying Joel was. So good to hear all the stories too. And yes, the person who asked me for Tish, I'll shoot that to you later on, that link to that too. I'm glad you want to be part of Tish. Awesome. Well, Cantor, do we have a special closing song you wanted to share in honor of Veterans Day and all veterans?
We do.
Excellent.
We can all sing together. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Amen.
And for those that are interested, on the YouTube page now, we've posted the full interview with Dr. Hirsch. And so if you wanted to hear a little bit more about his career and some of the interesting anecdotes that he shared, you can check that out at that YouTube link there.
Thank you again to Dr. Ed Hirsch and to Richard Scheck for giving of their time tonight, but really giving of their time in our military and representing our people, the Jewish people, so well, and serving our country so beautifully. It's greatly appreciated to all those Jewish war veterans who have been a part of the armed services and have given of themselves so valiantly. Really important for us to honor and remember. And, you know, one blessing in being able to have services in this format is how many more we've connected with and been able to celebrate as well. And we really appreciate that. So with that in mind, as we conclude our Shabbat services, we ask of God's blessing upon us all.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless us. May God protect us.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God shine upon you, and may God shine through you.
Yisa
got to always be a part of who we are as a community. Remembering all of those who are in our midst and including our community and its greatness, its majesty, its beauty, its inclusion of all of us as family. And most of all, blessing us in that spirit with shalom, with peace in our heart, in our mind, and to help bring more peace into our world.
וישם לך שלום.